good afternoon, parents, teachers, and friends. My name is Wijaya, and this is my English GPGA. Can everybody please look at the picture and think of one word that describes this? Has everybody got it? All of you are probably thinking of many different kinds of words, but I bet you they all point towards one thing. Next slide, please. And that is air pollution. Next slide, please. Meanwhile, what does it have to do with us students? Did you know that air pollution can actually affect a student's academic performance? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is what WHO data reveals what the global population is breathing right now. 99% of the global population is breathing in dirty air. Crazy, right? This shows how our world is filled with a lot of dirty things. Next slide, please. This raises the question, how does air pollution affect the academic performance of teenage students in Java? Next slide, please. Before we jump into anything, let's take a look at our own city, Surabaya. Surabaya's air pollution is on the rise. Next slide, please. This is caused by the growing population of 7.75% from 2014 to 2017. Levels of air pollution can be increased by mass transport. Next slide, please. Now, let's move on to the causes of air pollution, which are transportation and wind patterns. Next slide, please. Students are exposed to air pollution because of vehicle emissions. Next slide, please. According to pre-London wearables, students were exposed to higher levels of NO2 on their walk to school than at school. This data was gathered from students walking along main roads. Next slide, please. Moving on, wind can actually determine the air quality. How so? According to an observation, next slide, please. Strong wind blowing from Australia to Java at night causes dispersion of air pollution. This results in the dispersion of air pollutants to other regions. Next slide, please. Furthermore, these causes result in consequences such as academic performance and lung cancer. Next slide, please. Next, air pollutants can lead to a worse academic performance. Next slide, please. According to Spanish studies, exposure to air pollution results in a slower working memory, affecting academic performance, impacting higher education and income later on in life. Next slide, please. In addition, lung cancer has caused 3.2 million people to die each year, including children. Next slide, please. WHO data found that air pollution has been the cause of 29% of deaths of lung cancer worldwide. This has caused lung cancer to be dangerous towards children. Next slide, please. So now, the real question is, what can we do? From my research, I found the easiest way to tackle this problem. Next slide, please. And yes, this is the solution. It is to turn off your lights when you don't need them. Turning off your lights can save up energy by reducing carbon footprint. Next slide, please. The Pennsylvania State University has stated that only 10% of energy is used to light up a light bulb, while the other 90% is just wasted energy. The more air pollution you will create if you leave your light unattended. Next slide, please. In conclusion, air pollution can affect a student's academic performance for the worst. Most of the world's population is breathing in dirty air, and Surabaya's air pollution is on the rise. This is caused by transportation and wind patterns, which impacts a student's academic performance and their lung cancer development. This can be reduced by turning off your lights. Besides all of these, from Genesis 2, verse 15, the Lord took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. This shows how God wants us, His followers, not just be taking care of ourselves, but also taking care of His other creations. Next slide, please. Lastly, I would like to say thank you and God bless you.